Hello friends. I want to talk about a time I was in South Africa and got arrested and got detained. The guy behind me is doing a bit of gardening. Doy, his name is. Anyway, when I remember the age and everything, when I was 36 I got divorced. My divorce was final from my first wife, finalised. Well, I had a divorce party and had a few people around, and then I drunkenly booked a ticket to South Africa. Always wanted to go to South Africa, always wanted to go there. So I did. I booked a ticket, and I think it was a week or two after that party that I had my divorce papers. I was so happy. And booked the ticket, like I said, went to South Africa, flew into Johannesburg International Airport, stayed in the Sun Intercontinental Hotel for a couple of days while I was deciding where to go in South Africa. Anyway, I hired a car and went to a place called Mpumalanga, which is in a place called Springs, which is in the northeast of South Africa. And it was just like a road trip, and I remember seeing the coal trains, just long, I've never seen trains as long, with the carriages so long. Anyway, I got to this place and I was just travelling around, and one time, and at that time I smoked hand-rolling tobacco, you know, where you have, I used to smoke was it Golden Virginia or Old Holborn? Anyway, it was a hand-rolling tobacco where you had the papers, you had the individual papers, you put the tobacco in, you roll it up, and I used to smoke that then. Now I don't. And got to this place, and the place was Mpumalanga, and it was in Springs. And it was all blacks, and it was like a township. Like a little township made with like corrugated sheets of metal, anything that they could just put up these little shanty towns. And I was there for a few days. Great, brilliant it was. And I was talking to the local people, and because they speak, I think, 11 different dialects in South Africa. Not many speak English where I was, and they a little bit. Anyway, there was this particular time I was outside of this little shanty bar, and I was rolling a cigarette. You know, I could have smoked inside if I wanted to, but I was smoking this cigarette outside. And the police went past. Now I saw the police, the same couple of police, and they were slowing down every time they saw me outside, you know, and they wound down the window and they looked and they went like that. I put the thumbs up. And this particular time I was rolling a cigarette and they stopped and they got out the car, and it was two black policemen with the guns, you know, with the sidearms, and they detained me. They arrested me, and they said, and their English was very, it wasn't good. They were speaking Afrikaans, and I didn't know what they were like arresting me for. And they took away my my tobacco and my cigarette papers and things like this, and got to the police station. Now I'm petrified. I am, because I don't know what's happening here. Handcuffed. I was handcuffed. They took me to the police station, which seemed to me forever. It seemed to me like driving forever. I don't know how long, maybe 1 hour drive. Now, I'm thinking, are they going to kill me or something? I didn't know. So we got to the police station, which I was relieved, because I thought, oh yeah, here we are going to the police station. And it was a very small police station. Small, like, like a little outpost, if you like. And I had to empty all of my things on the table. Still didn't know what I'd been arrested for. Still didn't know. And I emptied all of my things, and the English wasn't so clever. I didn't know what was happening. I was put into a cell, a little cell, and there was a couple of people in there, a couple of people who've been arrested for something I don't know, and I was in with them. It's like a holding place, and you're all in it together. Anyway, I remember this. He wasn't a plainclothes policeman. He had like shirt on, and he was smart, but you could still say he's a policeman. And he come, and I had an interview. And this interview I couldn't really understand. And they said about the tobacco. And they assumed that it was drugs, right? So they assumed, because they hadn't seen it before. I found out this afterwards. They hadn't seen this, what I was doing before. So they thought I was smoking drugs. So, I said, I want a solicitor. I want a solicitor. Now I'm in big trouble. Now I'm in big trouble here. Or I'm thinking I'm in big trouble. And they got me this guy. I don't know who he was. The only thing I can ever remember was him sat there picking his nose all the time during the interview. I was looking over and he's just like picking his nose, and just he wasn't bothered. Anyway, they sent my tobacco, so they said, they sent it away for forensics. This is what they said to me. They sent my tobacco away for forensic testing to make sure it wasn't drugs, because they hadn't seen it before. Come back, no drugs. Now I was detained. I had about 3 or 4 separate interviews, and I'm detained in this little cell. And then they moved me to a different police station, which wasn't far from that place actually. And it was a bigger police station. It was more modern, and I could speak to this guy who could speak pretty good English. And I said, it's rolling tobacco. It's only rolling tobacco. It's not drugs. Come back as no drugs. Now I'm thinking, when this is going on, that, like, are they going to plant something in there? Am I going to be banged up in South Africa for the rest of my life? I don't know. So I'm in there for 48 hours, and they have to release you in 48 hours if they don't charge you, which I didn't know. But the guy said, you can only be here without charge for 48 hours, unless they want more evidence, and then they've got to make a case against you where they detain you. Now, after this 48 hours, they gave me, I was being released without charge. Released without charge. And they give me this piece of paper, or this document to sign for my release. Now, I didn't know what I was signing, so I didn't sign it because I couldn't understand the writing. Okay? And I said, well, I don't understand this terminology, so I can't sign something that I don't know what I'm signing. I don't know if I'm signing that I'm on bail or this or that. I've got to appear again to you guys. So I refused to sign it. Then that was their reason to detain me for longer. Now, this time, I'm thinking, embassy. I've got to contact the embassy. And they were nasty to me in there. You know, they were not kind to me whatsoever. And I hadn't done anything wrong. And I said, right, I should have done this at the beginning, but I think I was in shock. I said, right, I want to contact my embassy. And the guy said, well, why do you want to contact your embassy? I said, because I don't know what's going on here. I really don't know what's going on. And there is lots of horror stories where people get locked up abroad and, you know, things are pinned on them. And I didn't want that to happen to me. And they said, well, you've refused to sign your release papers. I said, but I don't understand what it is that I'm signing. I can't sign something that I don't know what I'm signing for. They said, it's for your release. I said, but I don't know if it is for... He says, take my word for it. It's for your release. I said, no, I'm not signing it until I know exactly what I'm signing. Anyway, contacted the embassy. Now, I'm in there now. I've done the 48 hours. I've been locked up all that time. A few interviews, and I'm locked up again. Embassy, you know, or the representative came out. Now I'm being there now for 4 days now. I'm there for 4 days. He come out, and he said, "What?" And I said, "Look," I said, "You know, they want me to sign this piece of paper. I don't know what I'm signing." He looked at it and he said, "It's just for your release." I said, "That's it? that's truly what it is? And he said, well, I think so. I'm thinking, you think so? So he went, altogether, guys, I was locked up for 6 days. I was in a South African holding place for 6 days. I was in 2 separate places. So this was turning out to be not such a good thing. You know, my divorce party that I was supposed to be having, it turned out to be a nightmare. Anyway, it was all translated into English, and I could read it perfectly, and it was a release. I signed that, and do you know what they did? They didn't even give me a lift back to any kind of to any civilization. I was outside the police. They never give me the tobacco back. I wasn't bothered about that, but they never gave me that back. I got my wallet, I got everything else back that I went in there with, but I never got that tobacco back. Don't know whatever happened to that. Wasn't bothered. Didn't know where I was. I didn't know where I was, so I said to the police, can you, like arrange to get me to a place where my car was? And they said, yes, we can do that. I had to pay the police. So I paid the police to take me to the same place where I was arrested, to get back to where my car was, outside of this like shanty bar. Car's gone. Got there, car's gone. Been stolen. I thought, oh God, this is getting worse. This is getting worse and worse. So now I'm stranded in this place called Mpumalanga, in a township. Couldn't get out, no car, no nothing. I thought, what do I do? What do I do here? Then, back then, this is like 20 years ago, like smartphones didn't really exist, so you couldn't really go on your things, get your navigations and find out where you were and that kind of thing. So I thought, what do I do? So I went to this bakery, and there was these big women working in the bakery, and I said, look, can you help me to get out of here to like a big place where I can organize something, like a big city or something like that. Well, I'm in the middle of nowhere, because I did that myself, to keep driving into these townships. And they did, one of their relations or something, he had this all beat up van, and he took me to, what do you call it, Matwag or something, Matwag, and he took me to, I paid him. I didn't care, I just wanted to get out. And I paid him, can't remember what it was, it doesn't make a difference. And he took me to this place, and he took me to like a minister's house. A minister with a thing round. And in these kind of little villages, or these townships, it's tribal, they have leaders. And this guy was the leader, spoke perfect English. And he helped me to get back to civilization. He made phone calls, he did whatever he did, he knew a lot of people, got me back to civilization. But that's my time of being, what I thought was going to be a great time for me, having a divorce, celebration, going to South Africa and got banged up. Now, I was meant to be there for 3 months, vacation. I did stay there for the 3 months, but I didn't. I went back to Johannesburg, I went down to Cape Town, I went to Port Elizabeth, I went to Durban, stayed in them sort of places. So, yeah, that's my time. And I was petrified, guys. I was absolutely petrified. I thought, that's it, I'm going to be banged up abroad forever. You hear these stories, like that Midnight Express, whatever it was called, in that Turkish prison. But yeah, when they mentioned drugs in that tobacco, you see, and I've seen a couple of guys here, foreigners, and they've had the smoking tobacco and think, oh, people don't know what that is here. I hope the same doesn't happen to you, but I think here they're more inquisitive, But this was like 20 years ago, guys, when I was arrested there, and thought I was never going to see daylight again. Petrified in a foreign country like South Africa, and in a part of South Africa where, white men don't simply go. I don't know why I did it, to be honest with you. Bit stupid, but I did it, and there you go. Anyway, the holiday turned out to be nice in the end. I met some lovely people in Durban and Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, went to Tabletop Mountain, and many places. So yeah, just that's it, all through rolling tobacco. I'm sure it was Golden Virginia, actually. can't remember. It was either Golden Virginia or Old Bonks. That's all I used to smoke then. I don't smoke it now. And yeah, because they hadn't seen it before, and they saw me rolling it. It's just like drugs, isn't it? Like cannabis or whatever, you know. But yeah, that's it, guys. Just thought I'd tell you about that. Interesting story. But it wasn't at the time. It was a petrifying story. And the British Embassy didn't really help. I'll tell you that now for a fact. They were not. And the guy who came out, he wasn't a British guy anyway. He was, I think he was like a South African kind of volunteer or something like that. I don't know. But the British Embassy didn't really do anything. They didn't really help. I got out of it myself. But I hadn't done anything wrong. But yeah, that's it. Anyway, guys, if you like the story and you like my channel, please subscribe, share the content, and like and hit the notification button. Thank you very much. Have a great day where you are, and see you probably tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.